extremely important. See, our diaspora is one of the oldest and one of the strongest pillar of our relationship. It started more than a century ago, and after that, on a very consistent basis, more and more Indians have been coming here, making this country their home. Some have come for work, some have come for investments, business, trade, and this relationship has actually grown with the diaspora. And today, the largest number of Indian nationals in any country in the world are actually here. The number has crossed 4 million, and they're from across the country, right from the north, UP, Bihar, right down to Kerala, large numbers. And you also find them in all categories. The top professionals are from India. Construction workers are also from India. Medical professionals are also from India. So across the spectrum, you find them here. See, every country has its own specificities. Here, our diaspora has helped us in creating a lot of trust. So the brand India, for instance, when the Amarathi rulers in the government think about India and Indians, they look at Indians as people who are very trustworthy, very sincere in their work, very hardworking. And here in a country where 90% of the population is expatriate and more than 35% of the total population being Indian, I think this thing really matters, because the leadership clearly acknowledges that Indians have had a major role in bringing UAE to the level it is today. Well, in the last
Prime Minister have came here 7 times, right?
7 times in the last 10 years. I would say that in the last 10 years, this relationship has completely transformed. And that's largely because of the trust between our leaders. They work very closely. And the Prime Minister has been here 7 times in the last 10 years. The UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed has visited India 4 times. Last September, Sheikh Khalid, the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, was in India to very clearly show generational continuity. And our foreign ministers work very closely with each other, Dr. Jaishankar and His Highness Sheikh Abdullah, our commerce minister and his counterpart, Dr. Thani, and His Highness Sheikh Hamid. So it's a very close kind of working between both sides at all levels, and that's why you see that trade is booming. CEPA has been signed. Investment is booming. Education sector, we've set up the first campus of IIT anywhere in the world. It's in Abu Dhabi, IIT Delhi. We are now planning to set up IIM Ahmedabad campus here. So it's a multi-dimensional growth, but the trust is the foundation of this relationship. So this trust is actually transcending,
Right.
in terms of outcomes. It's transcending the bilateral relationship. 2 examples, for instance, I-2 it's India, UAE, and then Israel and the US, because we can always leverage our strong relationship to bring about more peace and prosperity in this part of the world. Also, IMEC is another example. During G20 summit in Delhi in 2023, this major project IMEC was announced. And IMEC actually starts with India and the UAE, and then goes on to Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Israel, and then Mediterranean Sea onwards. So now we are in a position that, based on the strength of our relationship, we can actually visualize much more. We are trying to do work in third countries. We work very closely in the UN, in other multilateral fora. You are right when you say that IMEC found mention in the joint statement following the visit of Prime Minister.
Right.
Just a few weeks back.
13th February.
13th February. Right. What role UAE plays? I mean, very significant role, because after all, India and the UAE are the first 2 links in that chain. And our approach has been that regardless of whatever is happening in the rest of the region, we have to start our work. So, when Prime Minister was here in February last year, he actually witnessed, along with President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, the signing of a framework on IMEC between India and the UAE. The approach was that we have to move on.
Yeah.
We being the prime movers of this project, and then we take it from there, geographically and economically. In September last year, when Sheikh Khalid, Abu Dhabi Crown Prince, visited India, he launched work on the virtual trade corridor. and because that's how trade will be transacted in the times and in the years to come. So we are working on that, and next week we will have another round of working level visits and consultations. So, I mean, a time frame has been given for the next steps in this direction of I2U2. You know, sometime back, the UAE had hosted a business kind of a conclave with 4 countries along 10 different verticals. So it's evolving. I'm sure it could have done better, but definitely the determination is there to take it forward. As I told you, we are convinced, India and UAE are convinced that we have to do this project.
Right.
So we have already started work regardless of what is happening anywhere else, because this is something which benefits both of us and other countries in this process. This is something which is a need of the hour. This is something, when we realize that supply chains are so important, supply routes are so important. Even before the incident of October, which you are mentioning, even before that, we encountered risks to traffic flow through Red Sea.
Right.
For because of some other accident.
Right.
So those accidents can happen anytime. They are not political accidents. So to make sure that there are alternative supply routes, it's important to work on it. So we are working on that. The ethos of UAE is an ethos of harmony, peace, tolerance. So for them to say yes to a temple is not something which is unexpected or unthinkable. There have been temples. There are so many other Hindu temples in this country, so many gurdwaras, churches. But this temple is a special temple because this is something which came out of the vision of our leaders, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed and the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. And to have a temple at this scale was something which was very exceptional. Just a week back, the first anniversary of the temple was celebrated. And you won't believe that last 1 year, 2.2 million people have visited the temple of all religions, of multiple nationalities. So that's the appeal of the temple. Not only the temple per se, the temple has become a hub for a lot of activity.
Right.
So iftar is hosted in the temple, marriages are solemnized there, Indian festivals are celebrated there. So much happens around this hub, which is the temple.
Right.
So in terms of physical manifestation, perhaps this is the strongest symbol of how India and how close India and the UAE are.